Yo, what's up? J-Dub stepping here. Gonna give my initial thoughts on Battalion 1944. Stay tuned. Yo, what's going on? So, I'm gonna try to get this done as fast as possible, but I like to be in depth. So, getting into it, the gameplay, it's very fluid. It doesn't feel clunky. It's the Unreal 4 engine. There's a lot of Unreal 4 engines out there. Basically, it's like PUBG and Fortnite, and then this game. And this game is a lot smoother than both of those games. People say it's like, oh, it's based on Counter-Strike. Dude, a lot of these guys really didn't play the OG Call of Duties, nor did they play the OG Medal of Honors, but the movement is really based off of that. But the Unreal Engine 4 makes it very smooth. They have 3 different servers. You could choose the East Coast, the West Coast, or Central, which is very nice because being able to choose East or West, you're still going to get screwed in the Central, and if they just had a Central server, like H1Z1 I think did, then you're kind of screwed on the East and West. So it is nice to see that they are kind of like taking care of us in a way. The 2 maps we were offered, the Trench map and the French map. The French map is pretty legit. It's got a lot of egresses. It's got a lot of tiers. You've got at least 3 different tiers of height to deal with. It's not overbearing. There's not a lot of places, but there are quite a few if you want to camp it up. There's more than 3 lanes. I mean, obviously there's 3 main lanes, but you know, between those lanes there's secondary and like tertiary paths you can take. So that map is pretty solid, but the Trench map I was really not a fan of. It's just pretty much your basic 3-lane map, and there's not a lot of difference in like high ground, middle ground, and low ground. And it felt kind of clunky trying to get around some of the barriers. Now that we're done with the maps, we'll just talk about the weapons. Unfortunately, I only played the game for an hour, and that meant I only got to play German because I could not auto-assign. So that was kind of aggravating. Like there would be like 5 Germans and 2 Americans, or 3 Germans and 1 American. And you know, I kind of wanted to jump on American and like play American, but I guess I would have like had to log out the game and then get back in the game, and I'm too lazy to do that. So I just played like Germans the entire night. I touched a couple American weapons, but from the German weapons, I'll do an honest review. The MP44, which people call the STG, is the Sturmgewehr. The Machino Pistol 44 is a solid weapon, has a lot of recoil, so you'd have to like aim at the knees, let the weapon do the rest. The Machino Pistol 44, less damage per hit, but a lot more controllable recoil, and that one's going to be your submachine gun. The MP44 is actually an automatic rifle, comparable to the BAR, which people call the BAR. It is a BAR, Browning automatic rifle, but that's, you know, it's neither here nor there. The Kar 98K unscoped, solid weapon, my favorite. It's my weapon of choice. Really not a fan of the scope one, but you know, I just suck with the scope. I just started playing. I played the game for an hour, so open sight, open iron sights for me, and that's cool. Hit reg is there for the most part. Got some no scopes with it. Got a nice aim down shots, got a couple jump shots in with it, got a couple lean shots in with it, so it didn't seem to be a lot of hit registry issue. Probably because the maps are smaller and there's less people in the map, so that's cool. The shotgun, didn't play with the shotgun. The pistol, a lot of recoil on the pistol, but it's a pistol, and what do you expect if you spam the pistol? I mean, it's going to be a lot of recoil. The Gewehr 43, which is the semi-automatic weapon, it's got a 15-round mag, and it is comparable to the M1 Garand. Very low recoil, takes about 3 hits to kill somebody, but a very solid weapon indeed, unless someone runs up on you with a shotgun or a Thompson, in which case you just, you know, probably don't stand a chance unless you're pro. Things I would like to see, maybe the recoil on the 44 decrease by like, you know, just a smidge. I would like to see scope sway. I feel people doing scope sway, you know, would add a little bit more of a skill gap. There was just people running around bunny hopping with scoped rifles, just jumping around the corner and hitting you, and it was just kind of silly. And there's people just peeking out. and it was a bit annoying. But I mean, I only had an hour in the game, so I really didn't. I spent probably 10 minutes of that hour trying to fix my keybinds. Other things I'd like to see done, I would like to see them implement a competitive ladder for the other games. It's probably just because it's an alpha. I don't know if they intend to ride that all the way into beta and then into live, but
of course he's there.
Search and Destroy, competitive only ladder, and then claiming the game as a pure shooter is kind of like, eh. It's not a pure shooter, man. A pure shooter is like Quake. A pure shooter is like Medal of Honor. A pure shooter is like Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2. Those were pure shooters. There were no perks. There was no economy. You pick a weapon and you roll with it. Everybody's got the same health, the same recoil, the same body armor. Smokes or grenades, depending on which weapon you choose, that depended on your layout. That's a pure shooter. When you start adding economy to it, which is an interesting aspect, I will say.
Like
you know,
that
you have that there. Do I think I won't play the game because of that? No, not necessarily, but it was kind of annoying to watch a 6-minute video on the devs talk about how they were basing it as a pure shooter, and this is what we're going to do. And then you play the game and you're like, this game ain't pure. Like, there's a lot of fucking things that, you know, excuse my language, there's a lot of things in this game that aren't pure. But, I mean, it's an alpha, man. It's a legit game so far. I definitely had more fun playing this game in alpha than I did have playing Call of Duty World War II in beta. I feel like Square Enix is doing something right, whereas Sledgehammer just kind of missed the mark. World War II, in my opinion, they just basically took Modern Warfare 3 and they skinned it for World War II. I mean, that's what they did. The dog tag system is interesting. It does definitely put a spin on how you play Search and Destroy instead of grabbing a weapon and going. But, you know, it is what it is. Hopefully I get to play for more than an hour next time. And actually get to play around with it. I actually did not jump into a competitive ladder because I just wanted to learn. I didn't want to be a disappointment to myself or my team because my keybinds weren't set. I didn't know how the game was going to feel and things like that. Another thing, hey guys, you got to be able to throw a grenade further. Alright? That's just kind of like, you know, I'm not a baseball player, but I can pick up a baseball and I can throw a baseball at least 100 feet. So that's at least 30 meters. I can throw a baseball at least 30 meters. You try throwing grenades in this game, they will go 20 feet. Maybe the devs did it because the maps were small and they want to prevent grenade spam. You could throw a grenade on the other side of the map. But I mean, anybody that's played the pure Call of Duty 2 shooter or anybody that's played CSGO knows that you can range those grenades. So consider making the map bigger. Consider making bigger maps. Like the French map, it was a pretty big map. And people that play that consistently know that unless I get this sprint off or I pull my weapon out, I pull my pistol out, I get a sprint going on or what have you, then I'm going to get grenaded. So I just need to wait out the grenades. So the smokes were solid, you know, just almost instantaneous. A little pop and then there's smoke out there, there's cover, good volume, good cover, good concealment, I should say, not cover, good concealment. So I think they did a good job with the smokes initially. Moving on to my final verdict on the game. This is coming from somebody that's played Medal of Honor back in the 90s, like the late 90s. Played, you know, graduated to Call of Duty when Infinity Ward left EA, and they went on to Activision. You know, so you had the people that made most of the people that were making Call of Duty. Were on the Medal of Honor team, and they just were like, "EA, we had enough of your shit. We're gonna go take our skills elsewhere," and that's how Call of Duty was born.
Probably put a halo.
And when Call of Duty hit the map, dude, it was the shit. And I played Call of Duty, and I played Call of Duty UO. I played Call of Duty 2. I'd love to tell you how many hours I've spent on it, but on Steam, it's not a lot because back then we had games on CDs and DVDs. So the game is really good. It's a lot better than I thought it would be, and it's a lot worse than I thought it would be, but I will definitely throw $15 at it. I'm just give you a little background. I'm a 34-year-old dude, so in my 20s I was playing Call of Duty, Call of Duty UO, Call of Duty 2, playing Medal of Honor. So those are the pure shooters that I grew up with, whereas a lot of people that play, that grew up with Counter-Strike, CSGO, or they grew up with Modern Warfare was their first Call of Duty, or Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. So I feel like this game is a nice blend between the two. it's not overbearing, but I do feel like the gamer audience is getting older, and the people that tend to have money are older people. So you know, maybe you should cater a little bit more to me. And that's greedy of me for saying that, but you know, that's just the way I feel. This is me. I will pay $15 to play some beta. How long I will be on the beta, I couldn't tell you. But if I had to give it a rating out of 5 stars, I would give it a 3.5, a solid 3.5. I would give it a 4 if they added scope sway and I could throw grenades further. But based on what I played, it's 3.5, and I can tell you what, that's a lot more than a lot of games that first came out and I first played. Like I would have gave Call of Duty World War II, I would have gave that one like 1 star, 1.5 stars at most. The game was just But anyway, thanks for checking out the video. If you liked it, leave a like. You disliked it, dislike it. Don't be shy. I know people know what a dislike button is, but you know, hey, caveat to that, man. If you're gonna dislike it, tell me why you dislike it. Do you not like my voice? Should I put on a voice mod? Should I show better gameplay footage? Should I put in some better background music? Hell, do you want me to get up here and just like flex on the camera the entire time I'm talking? What do I gotta do to make a better product for you, the YouTube? But anyway, J-Dub stepping out of here.